I can't believe I'm engaged to a younger guy.
I just need a moment to now freeze. Give me a minute, yeah, freeze. I'm feeling happy now, freeze. I'm feeling grateful now.
Okay, so I don't think we ever talked about dating and relationships in topics with Tiffany. But I kind of want to get into more relationship stuff. I think I said that before. And yeah, I kind of want to talk about age versus maturity because I remember, okay, first of all, I've always been attracted to older guys, like since I was little, and that doesn't sound great. But I mean, obviously, nothing was happening. But um, yeah, I've just always loved an older guy. And my age limit to which I would date was really based off of my love of the guys in 90 Degrees. And so I was like, okay, well, the oldest is like 13 years older than me, so like that's the highest that I'm ever gonna like date. And so yeah, I dated a lot of guys that were 11 years older than me. 1975 babies apparently love me, and I never really thought about dating a younger guy. Uh, and also, okay, when I was in college, I remember asking a bunch of guys like when they think they would be ready to get married, and they all said 30, and I was just like, that's so old. And, in my head, I was like, that's so old. Like, okay, but now I know that this is maybe where guys feel like they're ready to get married, and so I'm just gonna date somebody close to that. I'll date somebody who's like 28. So actually, like my first official boyfriend um, was 28 when I was 21 in my last year of college. And I mean, he definitely wanted to marry me, but I was not there, and with him specifically. And so I just kind of just always dated older guys from that point on. I remember I was 24 when I went with this guy who was 31. Then I was still 24 when I went with this guy who was 35. Um, and then kept going out with the 1975 babies. And I remember one New Year's Eve, I was going to my favorite bar in Philly, and me and my cousin were the only younger people there, and the guys were like trying to give us like advice or whatever, and they were like, you're not going to be able to find a guy who's ready until they're 38, so maybe find somebody who's 38. I think maybe I was like 27 at that point, 27, 28. And I was like, oh, 38 just keeps getting older and older. Right? They're like, yeah, he's like, we're pretty much crap until we're 38. So just like, okay, well then I guess that's where that's what I'm gonna be doing. And so that's kind of what I did. I dated people who were 38. And so again, they were 1975 babies. So so I definitely was probably 27 at that point. Yeah, so I dated like two 38 years old kind of back to back. I guess I wasn't really trying to date the first one. We were friends, but he wanted something more, and he definitely wanted to get married to me. But again, I wasn't feeling it with him. And so, and that's important. Like you have to have that. Like if no one else, I really wish I had been into him that way, but it wasn't there. The guy after that was also 38. I just turned 38, and I really really liked him, but he was just so not available as much as I needed him to be. So anyway, I was getting frustrated, and I was like, maybe I should start talking to younger guys. And I remember I did talk to a younger guy, kind of around the same time I was talking to the other guy, the other 38-year-old. And then this guy was 24. Yeah, and I was 27. This guy was 24. I was like, this is weird. But I had seen him somewhere, and we kind of like, you know, and I had probably had some of the most deep conversation I've ever had at that point in my life with this guy who was just 24. And but he was so slow, like he wasn't making any moves. I was just like, I don't have time for this. And like I told him that, I was like, you're not doing anything, you're not asking me out, like should we, we should go out sometime, blah blah blah, we should go out, how about next week? And I was like, I don't have time to be doing all this stuff, so forget it. I entertained the idea again a few years later, and that was a no. So I really just liked dealing with older people, and because I'm an old soul as well, it just seemed to work. Because also women mature faster, it's a fact. I was just like, it doesn't make sense to date younger. So I definitely went back to the older people, but I started to scale back because I was like, well, it doesn't seem like these older guys are ready either. Because there was another 75 baby that I was there with. I wasn't there with the other people. I was there with him, but it was like basically almost 2 years of wasting my time with him, honestly. And so yeah, I was just like, well, it doesn't seem to be like an age thing. It just seems to be because your age doesn't mean you're mature or not mature, is what I was realizing after having that conversation with the 24-year-old, the many conversations I had with him, and the interactions I was having for like almost 2 years with this other guy who was 14 years older than him. And there was a mix of stuff in between. I mean, the guy that I had really liked that seemed to not be totally available, he was mature, but basically not mature enough. So it just really didn't have anything to do with age, I started to realize. So I had this whole age limit that was just like, okay, well, that's the age limit that I have, and that's probably when they're gonna be ready to get married. But so I had it this high for a long time, and then I was just like, let me scale it back and let me only stick to people born in the 80s, because do I really want to date people from the 70s? I would like it to be more of a closer generational thing, because when I did date the 28-year-old when I was in college, he kept being like, oh, but maybe you don't remember this because you're too young. Maybe like, that was so annoying. I'm just like, stop saying that to me. Shut up. Like, I really snapped at one point. Also, like, that didn't mean anything. There was a lot of stuff that he should have known that he didn't, based on his age, that I knew about. So I'm just like, stop trying to say because I'm young I don't know what this is or whatever. Anyway, so the age didn't really have anything to do with the maturity level or the readiness. And so yeah, when I continued dating, I wasn't really like trying to focus on age. I was just really trying to focus on the questions that I guess would clarify their maturity level. You go on these dating apps and you're like, oh, so what are you looking for? What was something that you're really passionate about or that you really want in a relationship, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like you meet people that are just like, I actually don't know, or what. And I'm just like, nope, I'm not wasting my time. Like, you don't even know, like, why are you here? So it's really, I guess, having the right conversations and questions and inquiries to get to someone's maturity level. Because as much as people were like, oh, you're young, or somebody might have been like, oh, like, I really like you, but you're young. It's like when they would talk to me, they're just like, oh, you're actually super mature. Like, yeah, I am. So it's just getting to know somebody and their maturity level. So as much as I was realizing that, I still don't want to date somebody younger than me. But I somehow got there. And so when I started talking to my fiance, I wasn't trying to date. I wasn't in that space at all. I actually had no interest, as much as people wanted me to have interest, because I'm in my 30s. But I was just like, I don't care. I don't care right now. And I just wanted to focus on the things that I really liked and that brought me joy. And that is how I met my fiance. And I noticed that he was 31, but I was like, whatever, like, it doesn't matter because we're just like talking. And so we were just like exchanging languages, and then we just clicked. So that's basically how I got a 31-year-old, and he's actually very mature. He's probably the most mature person that I've ever been with. And so he is like 3 years younger than me, almost, within a few weeks, less than 3 years younger than me. And but hey, met my criteria of being born in the 80s still. So, and yeah, so really, it was a whole journey of not focusing on age and really focusing on what makes somebody mature or not mature, and kind of defining those questions that you kind of need to know that will get to that. And yeah, so I want to know if you guys are stuck on age at all. I know a lot of people stuck on age. So let me know what you think about this topic.